The U.S. flag atop the White House flies at half-staff, a tribute to former Vice President Dick Cheney, who died Monday, aged 84. He is widely seen as one of the most powerful vice presidents in U.S. history, and one with a still visible legacy. Cheney had a long career in government, serving as a White House chief of staff, a U.S. House lawmaker, and defense secretary under different administrations. But it's his role in U.S. wars abroad that some say he'll be remembered for. His tenure as vice president stretched from 2001 to 2009, the era of President George W. Bush and the post-9/11 U.S. War on Terror, which included the invasion of Iraq.
In the case of Iraq, we have a regime that is busy enhancing its capabilities in the field of chemical and biological agents, and is, by all available evidence, speeding up its nuclear weapons program.
Those weapons of mass destruction, the reason given for the invasion, never turned up. For this and other reasons, views of him have been split for years.
I think for all those decades in government, in Congress, and in business, he'll be remembered primarily for the 2003 Iraq War, which in one way was the pinnacle of American power, and in another way was its downfall.
Because he was very much a proponent of some of the more controversial policies of the George W. Bush administration, whether you're thinking about sort of enhanced interrogations or torture, essentially, if you're thinking about sort of surveillance, the Patriot Act, or surveillance also, domestic spying on Americans, and of course, his most hawkish line on the war in Iraq and being largely unapologetic about it.
In Cheney's home state of Wyoming, views are still mixed today.
His legacy, I think, will be one of the probably better vice presidents that we've had.
When I think of Dick Cheney, I of course think of the Iraq War and the war in Afghanistan and how many U.S. lives were lost and others, and the failure of those efforts. So.
While Iraqis, who bore the brunt of U.S. intervention, have largely negative views of him.
I don't think any American official has a good legacy inside Iraq, or that any Iraqi remembers them in a good way, especially Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney had a major role in the occupation and destruction of Iraq under the pretext of nuclear weapons, which never existed. They destroyed us, and Dick Cheney specifically destroyed us. In what way can we remember him? By the voting in the Security Council, the war. He was bloodthirsty. All I can say is that he was a bloodthirsty man.
But there was more to Cheney's career than Iraq. He was also a backer of U.S. defense for Taiwan from the beginning, supporting the Taiwan Relations Act while a Congress member in 1979. As vice president, he argued forcefully for Taiwan's defense, and he visited Taiwan in retirement, even meeting President Tsai Ing-wen in 2017. And Cheney's personal politics evolved too. A staunch conservative throughout his political career, his final years saw him break ranks with his Republican Party as it came to be dominated by President Donald Trump. Cheney and Trump became strong opponents, and Cheney's daughter Liz came out as a leading anti-Trump Republican in the U.S. House of Representatives. Trump had this to say about Cheney and his family while eyeing a return to the presidency in 2022.
Cheneys are die-hard globalists and warmongers who have been plunging us into new conflicts for decades, spilling American blood and spending American treasure all over the world.
Cheney hit back, slamming Trump in a campaign ad for his daughter Liz later that year.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him.
In the end, Cheney went so far as to endorse Trump's Democratic opponent Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. Cheney's life and death chart the shifting story of U.S. policy and politics through an era. And while views of his legacy are hardly uniform, the stamp he left is something even his detractors have noted. Ryan Wu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.